Hello, we're back. We're going to explore sulfur ylids and how they can be used to make epoxides. So just like phosphorus was a nucleophile underneath nitrogen on the periodic table, sulfur is a nucleophile underneath oxygen on the periodic table. It can do a backside attack on a carbon with a leaving group in an SN2 fashion, creating an ylid precursor. This will be a sulfur ylid precursor. And what happens with the sulfur ylids when they attack aldehydes or ketones is we get a backside attack on a carbonyl. The pi breaks, generating an O-. Sulfur cannot handle another bond. Its nature is to not have a new bond here. Well, it could, but it doesn't. And it can get up to 6 bonds if you want to be picky, but it doesn't. Sulfonium ion is an excellent leaving group. This is an example of what you might think of as a neighboring group participation reaction, where you have a nucleophile in the same molecule with a leaving group. Just like an oxonium is a good leaving group, so is a sulfonium. And we generated an epoxide. So how many ways do we know of making epoxides? Shall we review? It's always good to review, right? So I can make the same epoxide from this alkene in 2 ways. We could have gone RCO3H. That's an H. That's a per acid. These are both chapter 11. Or we could have used an alternate method that involved 2 steps, using old chemistry mixed with newer chemistry, but it's all old chemistry now. Use a halogen like iodine and water. And you generated a vicinal halohydrin in step 1. In step 2, some kind of simple strong base. And we made an epoxide that way. And now we have a third way. And we're going to explore the third way in our own mechanism here. When we do our mechanism, I'm going to use our new system of saying, okay, if I did this in the first step, attacked the carbonyl and generated an O-, and then in the next step, the O- attacks the backside of the carbon with the leaving group, and I should be able to combine these 2 steps because this O has a lone pair already. And I'll say one color first and another color second. I'll get ready for that now. Red first, blue second. And we won't be using that until we get into this area down here. How can we generate an alkyl bromide where we used to have an alcohol? We're hitting that chapter 10 review pretty hard, as you will be on test 1. PBr3 is our way to go. And then what happens with the sulfur and the 2 phenyl groups? Well, it's up here. It's doing a backside attack. Leaving group leaves. Lone pair. Backside attack. Leaving group leaves. Get your precursor. We'll circle this as a R group. Well, I'm giving the answer on the first one. I think you got the blank as the second one. So what do we got up here? We have a sulfur with 2 phenols and a plus charge. We have a hydrogen right there. What's the pKa? I didn't remind you that this is a new pKa, but it's not really a new number for today. The Ylid precursor for either a phosphorus or a sulfur, the new number you're going to put on your pKa table is 30. So you need quite a strong base. I have a little overkill on this base here. That is potassium ethyl. So ethyl potassium would look like this. Let's put it in, I don't know, purple. Ethyl group, lone pair, anion. Grab that H. And we've generated the Ylid as we drew it here. There's a lone pair on the carbon, generating an anion. And let's combine our steps up here. Let's see, we have our Ylid, we had our Ylid. Lone pair attacks the positive carbon. You get an O minus, but in the next step, O minus attacks the carbon that has the sulfur on it. Remember that. Let's do this. Red arrows first would be the arrows attacking the carbonyl. Get lone pair on the O. Already had lone pairs on the O. They can now attack the carbon with the sulfur. Oh, looks like I went right to that green lone pair. There, a little better. Sulfur leaves, and you're done. I like it. It was fast. And we made an epoxide. We had a new bond formed from carbon to carbon. That's this bond right here. And we have a new bond from oxygen, the oxygen on the isobutyl group, and to the carbon here. This bond is new here. That was old. And we've got that. And we made an epoxide. And this is all you need to know about sulfur Ylids. And as promised, it's going to be a nice short segment. We'll be back in 5 minutes, and I will see you then.